until right now. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Steve, are we live?
Yes, we are, Dana, as a matter of fact.
All right, well, let me take off the TikTok shives because
Ah, you had it. Is
I
that
had
what you
it
were
right, but I
typing?
had
Because I saw you typing something, and I went to the chat to see what you had typed, and nothing from you came up. And
nothing was there. Nothing was
you had
there.
it loaded. You had it ready.
I did. I was so ready. So when it's 6 o'clock, TikTok shives.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, hi,
Hey,
everybody.
I wanted to be prepared. Very important.
Were you ever a Girl Scout? Is Be Prepared a Girl Scouts thing? I know it's a Boy Scouts thing. Do they have the same dedication to preparedness, or do they just sell cookies and get
No,
rich?
it's a person who deals with teenagers and knows what happens if you don't have anything for them to
Ah,
do thing.
ah,
Yeah, that's why like grading obviously is important, but in most cases lesson planning immediately tops. If I'm behind on lesson planning and I'm behind on grading, no, I don't get behind on lesson planning because the idea of having a room full of teenagers with nothing to do is horrifying.
yeah. Idle hands are the devil's playthings, and so
Because
forth.
let me tell you, if you don't have something for them to do, they'll find something.
They'll find something.
They'll
I'm
find
sure they will.
something.
I'm
Oh
sure they will.
boy.
So yes, per Dana's request, everybody, we're going to cut the opening chit chat short. Not like completely eliminated, but maybe
Mm.
just chat for a few minutes instead of 20 minutes. Um, because Dana's had a long day and she's tired and she just wants you all to know what a favor she's doing you by even being here. Um,
I look forward to
so
this, but I'm tired and I once I start squeaking, y'all, it's downhill.
so get the go ahead and get the episode ready right now. We are watching, as you could hopefully already have deduced by the title of this live stream, we are watching Deep Space Nine, and we are watching For the Uniform, which is season 5, episode 13. So if you are watching it like Dana and I are on Paramount Plus, go ahead and queue it up and have it paused at 0 and be prepared to watch along with us when we get to that point here in just a little tiny bit. Um, oh, and Alice, thank you for saying something nice about that Stuffy video. I appreciate that.
Is that the one that she
Yeah,
took back? Did she maybe decide she didn't like it? She's got a retracted message there. Oh no,
yeah,
I see
and
it.
then posted the same message again. Um, yeah, so that I did a special Stuffy video last week about postcard writing, and it's been very nice to get comments on that video from people saying that either they were already doing get out the vote postcards or they are now going to because they
Yay!
watched my video. So that's really cool.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
David, I haven't been counting exactly. How many postcards have I gotten done? I haven't kept a total running count. I'm um, less than
Don't sweat.
halfway. Less than halfway. I'm
Don't sweat
going
it, Alice.
just as in the Stuffy video. I actually am doing 1,000 postcards. Um, so I'm well on my way. I mean, I have if I keep up my current pace, I will finish with plenty of time to spare before the mailing date. The mailing date for the ones that I have is October 24th, and I will be finished. Yeah, I didn't. I should have done some today. I didn't do any today. I was busy with other stuff, but I have enough of a cushion that I have plenty of time to get them done. So I'm doing pretty well.
Oh, a time cushion. I got it.
Yes, a time cushion. I am sitting on a cushion as well.
Greg, no, I have not seen all of DS9, and we haven't done this. Is like we're going through it kind of chronologically, and
Yeah.
also in season 5, we've watched like almost every episode, but not every episode. And in previous seasons, Steve was a smidgen pickier. A smidgen, but season 5 is just like, okay, we're gonna watch this one, and we're gonna watch this one, and we're gonna watch this one.
Season
We're
5,
gonna.
yeah. It's season 4 because the thing about season 5 is not only does it
It's
have a
so
lot
good.
of not only does it have a lot of really good episodes, but some of the episodes that I would otherwise have skipped have stuff in them that sets things up for later on that you should probably know, you know what I mean? So like even the episodes that might not be like masterpieces in and of themselves, like there's something in there, there's like a bit of character or a little plot thing that, you know, pays off later that you should see. So it's tough to pick.
So I'm gonna see
It
them.
yeah. 255 AD. And by the way, and today also I put up my newest Starfleet jobs video, which is Starfleet Chef. I'm glad people
Oh, I
seem to
haven't
like
got
it.
to see it.
Oh,
Oh,
you
I
well,
want
you should watch it. We should watch it before you fall asleep tonight. It'll be the last thing you see, and then you can dream of me as a
and
Starfleet
the French
chef.
accent, not so much of the
The French,
seeing, the hearing, the hearing.
the
I want to see.
excuse me, it's a Savagarian accent. It may
My
sound like a
apologies.
bad it may sound like a bad French accent to
That's
the
right.
untrained ear, but it is not a bad French accent. It is a perfect native Savagarian accent. Anyway,
Of course.
255 AD asks, when is your chef video set? My guess is about 2330. Bless your heart, I have not worked out an exact year
I
when it
know,
is
I
set.
know, I know, I know, I know. It's set in the future.
It's set in the future. I would estimate it is somewhere circa Strange New Worlds. I don't know the exact year, but that's the deal with the costume. If you notice the badge, the Starfleet badge that he wears is like a first couple of seasons of Discovery / Strange New Worlds era badge. So I would guess sometime roughly in that, it may be late 2340s, early 2350s, but honestly, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's, you know,
And it's in Star Trek time.
it's pre original series because he's showing off the food cubes that are in the video are a new thing. So it's before that. Um, and and obviously it's before replicators became a regular thing because that's also a point in the video. So it's sometime pre TOS. I was imagining roughly circa Strange New Worlds, give or take a few years.
Okay.
So
Sounds great to me. So yeah, so we have been, today was day 5, so we've officially been in school for a week.
huzzah. And what was it that was so exhausting about today? If you can cover that briefly, because we do want to get to the episode.
So, and actually, so the principal came by. I had a nice little conversation with the principal this morning. He came by while I was unplanning. My door was open. He popped in, and we'd both been at the school board planning meeting last night. Now, that's not the business meeting will be next week, and that's when they vote on stuff. But this is when they get all the reports from, like, the monthly reports, the financial advisor officer person for the district, the building project type person, the curriculum development coordinator, you know, so they get reports on all sort of upcoming activities and what's going on with, like, the money, basically. And so the financial person says, here's what we have to be worried about as far as money coming in, and here's where the money's coming in. And the building person is like, here's where we're spending a lot of money. And the curriculum coordinator is like, here's where we're also spending a lot of money and where we're going to be required to spend more money in the future because the state is saying we have to do these trainings. So we have to figure out how we're going to pay for these trainings that we're being required to give to our staff. So anyway, so all of that. But anyway, it's one of the meetings. It is open to the public, so I go. So since I guess about March or so, I've been trying to get to all of the meetings, and then over the summer, our union president was like, you know, so I'm going to be at the planning meeting, and da-da-da. I was like, wait, those are open to the public? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'll be there. so I've been going to both of those meetings. So anyway, we were there, and so we talked about what had happened at the meeting last night, and you know, some of the tax stuff that is coming up, and, you know, people's reactions to it that we're seeing, and how we're trying to help people understand what's going on. So we had really a great conversation, and it feels really, really nice to have an administrator who really seems to value my thoughts and my input. Like, really, like he sat with me for a solid 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, I had stuff to do, but it was worth.
Yeah.
Also, I wasn't entirely sure how to say, look, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I could
Shut
have.
up, principal.
And the other thing is, I could have, but, first of all, it's really nice to have, an administrator listen to me and to value my feedback and to look for that. So that was definitely a plus. But also, he'd been there. And so I had somebody who's at my school to talk to about, what's going on, things like that. So, it was just really nice. So anyway, that was good. But at the same time, I had stuff to do. So now I'm just like rushing through some of the stuff. Put me a little bit behind. I did manage to get all of my, so I'm doing my 5-day feedback form, which I've got a video on mine about it. So one of the things I do, today's day 5, thank God. And I think I haven't written back to anybody from today because my planning period is first block, like right at the beginning of the day. So I've got 3 classes of not quite 30 students each. And I'm not going to write back to everybody today because we were on day 5. So they've written to me the last time. I'm the ones who let's see, like this student was absent a day, so they're only on day 4. So I need to write back to them so they can write back to me tomorrow. But the ones who are on day 5, I'm just gonna I'm gonna put those at the bottom of the stack. And I'm like, look, you're getting your grade you did it. It's 100. Congratulations. I'll give it back to you once I've had a chance to write back. So I'm just like, I'm so tired. So, and then I had new copies of my roster to run so that I have a list of everybody who's actually supposed to be there versus people who were supposed to be there but have been moved to another class or were on the list but have never actually come to school this year because they have moved over the summer or whatever. So I've printed that off, lost it like twice. I don't even just list of stuff and stuff. And so today, ideally, we were going to go in and finally get them on Google Classroom because they started. So Thursday was the first day of school. Friday was the second. They started handing out Chromebooks on Friday. Well, they got through all the seniors and most of the juniors, theoretically, for the ones who were there. And then we went through juniors and sophomores on Monday, and then sophomores into freshmen on Tuesday and finish up the freshmen today. So by the end of the day, theoretically, all of my students had their Chromebooks, only before some of them didn't. So yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to move things around because last year they gave out Chromebooks during open house. So most of them had them at the beginning of the school year. And this year they didn't. So I had to move everything around. So I had a copy of the assignment on Google Classroom. Those who were there were able to sign in, type their assignment. So it was my easy grammar, always capitalize I when it refers to a personal pronoun. Also, in 2 of my classes, I have about a half a dozen students who are English is not their first language. Fortunately, all of them are Hispanic. And so Spanish is either their first or second language. So they're all pretty good in Spanish. And so I'll say something, and fortunately, I know enough Spanish to say to walk them through the process. I don't know how to say click. I don't know the verb for click in Spanish yet. I need to know that because I'm talking them through. Okay.
Oh, like click a link or click a tab.
Or to use hold down the control key and press T to open a new tab. So that I know everybody is.
I would just be talking into my Google Translate app on my phone. Be like, listen to the phone, kids.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Click on the link.
I literally can't do that because in my room, there's no cell service.
Well, that's bullshit. I don't care for that at all.
So yeah, it's really frustrating. So
you don't have Wi-Fi? You couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi through your phone?
I'm not going to connect to the school's Wi-Fi on my phone.
Well,
no.
Well, that's your choice. No. If you want to make
your
job more difficult.
It is absolutely my choice.
That's your choice.
It's just...
Okay, so anyway, long story short.
Long day. Hard day.
Lots of stuff.
Also,
lots of different stuff
school,
to do.
Went to tutoring. Come home. I lay down on the bed for about 8 minutes.
So a nice, good long nap.
Yep.
Okay,
I think or something like that is the other day. So yeah, let's go ahead.
We're going to watch the episode. I just want to acknowledge 255 AD says I should have set my Starfleet chef video like 80 years or so later than I did. I disagree. Now, you are correct that I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. None of it is really relevant to what the video is actually about. But personally, I think I said it in exactly the right time because my assumption was that Starfleet engineers would have been working on replicators, during the TOS era because they did have food processors or food synthesizers or whatever, and that's
Mhm.
kind of the same category of technology. And plus, they had transporters, and we know that transporters and replicators supposedly work on the same principles. So I don't think it's out of line to assume that some smarty pants group of researchers was working on replicators somewhere during
At
the
that
era
point.
of original series, even though they didn't become like standard ship equipment until many years later. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I feel like by 2330, and also if I would have waited until 2330, I couldn't have done the food cubes gag. Like they already had food cubes.
I
So
will. Yeah, you wanted to be on the cutting edge.
food cube. Well, yeah, I mean, food. If
Oh,
I
oh,
wanted my
oh!
chef, go ahead.
Literally cutting edge. Because you're
Abba.
a chef.
If
Ah!
if I wanted to do the chef character being the guy who invented the food cubes that we see in classic Star Trek, then it would have to take place before classic Star Trek because we see the food cubes in classic Star Trek. So anyway, Dana, after you swallow your
Mhm.
bite of pizza, would you like
Pizza
to explain to everybody how we watch together, and then we will watch for the uniform together?
together. Yes. So once you've got your episode 13 of season 5 queued up to 0000, Steve, because this is his channel, is going to say 3, 2, 1, play. And when Steve says play, we all click play. And then we watch the episode together. Ta-da! That's how it works.
That's it. All right. 255 AD, I disagree. They had the basic technology already.
Okay.
but it doesn't matter. We're not going to argue about it.
We're going to watch the show.
We're going to watch the show. So everybody get
3.
ready. As Dana just said, I will count us in from 3, and everybody push play when I say play. And we will watch for the uniform. And I can't wait to talk about this one with you after we're done, Dana. I'm very curious as to what you will think about several aspects of this episode.
Ooh, fun, fun, fun.
So,
all right. Let's go.
Here we go. All right.
LFG.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
Inform. Wait, no.
No.
I like you, boom, boom, down.
Hello, famous Starfleet guy here. Hello,
Getting ignored.
emissary of the prophets.
Are you sure that's not Sancta? Mm-mm-mm.
Do you have an appointment? Philip, he eats Savagarian food, obviously.
Of course. You have to whisper because it's dark.
Throw it on the ground.
Mm.
Put your left foot in. The Badlands are nasty because in the Badlands you got to live it every day.
Oh, this is so good. That is excellent expository dialogue delivery. Woohoo!
I said, look.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo. Mm.
Laying a course to fuck up that ship. 255 AD, I think that's a fair read of his character. I mean, he definitely sees himself as a hero. I mean, and that figures into this episode. Sean O'Sullivan, may he rest in peace. The succulent Chinese meal guy. He passed away a few days ago.
Oh. Mm.
What is the charge, gentlemen? For enjoying a meal? For enjoying a succulent Chinese meal? What was his? This is democracy manifest. Rest in peace to a true legend.
I got a rock.
And now our story.
Mm. Excuse me again. knitting news. How's it going? As opposed to the other traders that we don't like as much.
Yeah, David, I was just going to say that. Eric Pierpoint played George Francisco in the TV series of Alien Nation. Yeah. Worf's like, on it.
Okie dokie. You better check it twice.
Ah!
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Hey, I don't care about Starfleet. I'm just putting you're the one who cares about Starfleet, then maybe.
Okay, it's a deal. Psych. Later.
Hey, you mean what do you mean already? He been
Yeah.
feisty.
Thank you, Right Plight. Good to have you here.
Oh gosh.
Can't you just do a better job and do it faster?
What if I say you've got half an hour? Does it work this time? It may take us another 18 months. Vilcata, do you remember tape backups? I do. Oh my God, those were so painful. Well, you screwed it up, so
I see. And what if I kill you? Did I say fool? Oh God, please don't hurt me.
Well, that's good.
Yes, I'm sure this character we've never met before will have no problem hunting down and capturing the recurring villain with a personal issue with the series protagonist.
That's the Alien Jane, exactly. Um, Clone of Jonathan, no, but then we weren't, it was a building. It wasn't something that traveled. So there's that. Oh, he's having so much fun. Oh, Oh, did he beat you too? Ah! Sir. Uh-oh. No, you want cans with a long string. Jeez. Bless your heart, Nog. Hi, Amy. Did you say it turned inside out and exploded? Oh, please.
Hey, I'm the captain. I'll ask for a sharp turn if I want to.
Hey, Steve, is that
Yes.
set up?
What? The holographic thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we need to know that they still work so when they are used later on.
255 AD. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, 25580. It's the same trope.
Little Miss Sass.
Oh, by the way, Captain, the shitter in your quarters doesn't work either.
Too bad.
Nobody go in there.
Hmm. Standby impulse power.
You there, more space stuff. We're just going in a circle.
But it's a very fancy circle.
Mr. I Love the Ants, it's whoever's always in charge whenever all the main characters leave on the ship. It happens
The
a
one we
lot.
don't.
Lucky 7. Well, 255 AD, Nog is the radio. He's holding the radio. So if they just, like, they still need someone to work the radio. So that's Nog.
Eddington could be a wonderful edding place. I can see it from the highway. It's been running through my head. I just can't make it shut up. See, oh. Are they edding at the stars? Oh. How's it going?
Sounds like my kind of guy.
I just want to point out that in Les Mis, the revolution fails, guys. So maybe that's not the parallel that you want to draw. Just saying. Because you're not at the end of the episode, Cisco.
He's not talking about Les Mis. He's talking about Les Miserables.
Which has the same plot, but it's okay.
The classic novel on which the awful abomination of a musical is based.
In which which is based on history.
Yeah, the revolution fails because the revolution failed in history, yeah. Yeah. Boy, these Maquis guys are good. Oh no, it's that same model we always use for another starship.
The one with the magnets on the side. The big round fridge magnets. 255 AD, are you referring to Cisco or to Eddington? Or both?
Why are you so dirty? Is there dirt on your ship? You're welcome, Bull 705. I mean, I like certain versions of it. I mean, I like, but yeah, the musical is not my favorite thing. Okay, I didn't ask for your life story.
Well, I mean, I haven't taken 8 months yet, so give me another 7 months, 3 weeks, and 6 days. Then we'll see.
This guy just keeps stepping on his dick when he talks to Cisco. I don't.
Whoops, my bad.
Boop. I know, Greg. They should just make the whole ship out of whatever the hollow system is made out of.
Yeah, but they don't need to damage the hollow suite because or the hollow system because it messes up itself.
That's true.
Whenever the plot requires it.
If they use it long enough, it'll go haywire and kill them all.
There you go. Don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Boop.
Maybe Eddington's wife died, and when he dances, it brings him back. It brings her back to him. He just wants to win. And it begins.
Yeah.
Oh, don't they have giant telepathic blue aliens? And sex trees.
You heard me.
He's predictably unpredictable.
Indeed.
One step beyond.
Yeah. Oh shit. Bad day for you.
Sorry, Caitlin. The choice is up to you. You'll love the life of a thief, which again goes back to his metaphor for Les Miserables. You'll relish the life of a crook. There's loads of fun for everyone. You'll piss off Starfleet by the ton.
Right now,
Don't
Cisco's
fly
thinking, I
into
don't like this Eddington guy.
don't fly into the sun. Give up
Okay.
on Eddington. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm shutting up now.
So what you doing? Still moping about your failure?
Sad face. I'm pouting.
You knew him?
Nice one, Snake Cat.
No, that's Thurber.
Die of old age.
Oh yeah.
Nicely delivered, buddy. Ah, the bitten off dialogue. Oh, he loves that so much. It, I'm the captain. I said so.
Don't just sit there and stare. Carry out my war crime.
Damien, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Silly, exactly. Prepare. I shouldn't alter it further. It doesn't take a good actor to recognize a bad one. You're sweating.
Is
I
your
believe
atrocity
my
doing finger
orders were
broken?
clear.
How you like me now?
I've only just begun. And I mean, it's only for 50 years. It's like, it's not that long. You've been dreaming just one dream. All roads end with the best deals in Eddington. I just don't deserve you. Who does? Yeah, Silly Jane, but he's not gonna have as much. Whoopsie.
The end.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's talk shop.
So, first of all, just, general thoughts that you may have about the episode.
Scene chewing is fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. It's a great Avery Brooks episode. Absolutely.
I mean, 255 ED, chances are pretty good that in all the kerfuffle to evacuate, somebody died who maybe otherwise wouldn't. So, you can make the case that, blah, 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 innocent refugees died because of your, but, tis what tis.
Well, and also, I just want to point out, because Kirok mentioned this a little bit earlier in the chat, he said, not sure I would classify this as a war crime. It's not killing life forms, just making it uninhabitable for Cardassian.
Yeah.
Forcible relocation of a civilian population is a war crime. So
did you look that up, or is that something you just happen to know?
Well, I mean, given certain ongoing events in the real world over the last, say, well, I don't know, how long has it been since October? I've refreshed my memory, let's just say, about what legally constitutes a war crime, and forcible relocation of a civilian population is a war crime. So based on our current understanding of what a war crime is, based on, current international law, which the United States even occasionally recognizes.
Once in a while.
Once in a while. Once in a while. What Cisco does.
In this case, no. Therefore, in this case, no, it wouldn't be a war crime because the Federation is us and we don't commit war crimes.
Yeah. But yeah, so by broadly accepted real life, real world definitions, what Cisco does is a war crime. And by the way, as is what Eddington does, because he does the same thing. So it's not just Cisco doing war crimes for shits and giggles. Like his is a retaliatory war crime. I don't think that makes it any better, but it's like you war crimed first. I'm just war criming you back.
Look. I don't care who war crimed first. I'm war crime ending it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't start this war crime. Wait, I finished this war crime.
This far, no farther, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, and Mr. I Love the Ants in 255, and yes, arguably it constitutes a form of genocide. Although that might be a little harsh in this instance. But then again, maybe not. I mean, it's hard. It just depends on, how you define
I Love the Ants. No.
Who war crimed it better? That's great. Oh, that's great.
That's terrible and great.
But yeah, it's so what Cisco does is what Cisco does is not okay.
It's villainous.
Yeah. And what Eddington does is also not okay. But it's you can sort of see both sides of it.
Oh yeah.
Which I appreciate. You can see Eddington's side of his group of people are the oppressed ones, are the ones in the far less powerful position. They're the ones that have been forced to abandon their homes because of a treaty that was signed by two nation states that just basically just kind of disregarded them and disregarded their interests. Um, and on the other side, you have Cisco representing Starfleet and Eddington and his group of the Maquis. I mean, they did just attack a Starfleet ship, and they are now representing an actual like military threat, not just to the Cardassians, but to the Federation as well. So Cisco is not being unreasonable when he says you are now a threat to us and it's within our rights to eliminate you.
And
It's
it's you
just
suck.
it's just that, the way he goes about it is outside, let's just say outside of accepted norms for this sort of thing. So
Mr. I Love the Ants, I think Les Miserables is how they get to the idea that Eddington sees himself as specifically a melodramatic hero.
yeah,
Like that, sort of oh gosh, over the top, not just
romantic
action, but yeah, that's the word I was looking for, a romantic hero.
Yeah, very much. Well, and since actually that was something I wanted to ask you, since Mr. I Love the Ants brought it up, what did you think of folding Les Miserables into the story? What did that add anything to it, or did you have any sort of appreciation for that as an English teacher and lover of books? Because like I'll tell you what I like about it. What I like about it is almost always when Star Trek characters reference literature, it's almost always Shakespeare. And nothing wrong with Shakespeare. Shakespeare's fine, and Shakespeare occupies a massive position in the English canon, so it makes sense that they would be referencing Shakespeare. And if it's not Shakespeare, it's usually Melville.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see a Star Trek show.
When you say Melville, you mean Moby Dick.
Moby Dick. Moby Dick.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Not his other work.
Although I will say, I was like, it's interesting that they went for, that one.
Yeah.
Instead
well, it's nice to see a Star Trek episode that makes a very prominent literary reference that even plays into the story, that isn't Moby Dick or Shakespeare. That's nice. And then they actually talk about it. Like, that's the thing. Dax and Cisco have that scene where they're actually, I mean, on a pretty superficial level, but still, like, they're talking about the book and the characters. And it's like they're solving the problem. They're catching the bad guy through literary analysis. Like, there's just something neat about that to me. Like, Cisco gets to his key insight about Eddington and how he's going to catch him through literary analysis. He reads the book and he's like, so he identifies with Valjean, eh? Well, maybe I'll pull a Javert and I'll get his ass. Like, I think that's kind of neat.
It would have worked easily, at least as well, with the Scarlet Pimpernel.
But is that a reference that more people in the audience at the time would have gotten?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, this was like mid 90s, right?
Yeah. So
like Les Mis was big. Because of Les Mis,
because of the musical. Yes, because of the musical, Les Mis was a much more broadly known reference. Yeah.
And although I will say, the miniseries wouldn't have been too much before that, but it was not as broadly successful as Les Mis, which was just like ridiculously big. So yeah. Caitlin, yes, to some degree. But at the same time, what did she say? His female
characters are two-dimensional.
Because I remember thinking I thought she said his heroines, because I remember thinking, I wonder if
his heroines
counts. Yeah, I wonder if Eponine counts, because she's a much more layered character, but I would say she's not a principal character in the book. She gets she gets kind of shoved to the forefront in the musical, but she's got a much smaller role in the book. And then of course the other thing is, I don't remember, she said, that she didn't really like Hunchback, and I can't remember why, because I was waiting for her to say he was describing, Paris, but nothing was actually happening because, like, yeah, the book comes to a dead stop. He takes an entire chapter. It's complete exposition. Nothing happens. It's just like not florid, but like the very detailed, vivid description of Paris. This is Paris for a whole lengthy chapter. And I was ready for that. And then she went somewhere else with it. I was like, oh wait, what? Huh? Okay. And then it was over and I kind of missed it because I was
Yeah.
so confident about what she was gonna say and I wanted to see her take on it. And then she didn't. So it's like, okay. Oh
um,
yes.
well, Kirok, I mean, I will always defend Cisco as a character. Cisco as a character is magnificent. Cisco as a character is my favorite Star Trek character, but that doesn't mean that I need to or feel like I'm compelled to morally defend everything he does. He does some fucked up shit throughout the course of the series. Yes, you look like you're dying to say something.
HB Haga. No. You want, does he feel passion or does he feel zen? That damned elusive Eddington.
Nice.
Thank you. Because I had
Nice.
to I was like, Eddington and Pimpernel have the same, scansion. So I just need to work backwards and find a rhyme for it. 10, 10. Okay, I'll go with that. Maybe not the
Yeah.
best one, but that was what worked on the fly. So I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, it's wartime sort of. Cisco is doing things like, if all other things being equal, Cisco is not a war crime kind of guy. But if he is backed into a corner and the only way for him to do what he thinks he needs to do is to do a little war crime, well, he's the kind of guy that will do it. And
just
we'll
a
be like,
smidgen of
well,
a war crime.
yeah, I'm just, if I have to do a little war criming to, to accomplish a larger goal, well, then I'm going to do it. Like that's a part of his character. And I don't think it doesn't make him evil, but it does make him a lot more morally complicated than
Mm-hmm.
other, certainly most other Star Trek heroes.
So yeah,
So, but overall, what'd you think of it?
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Enjoyable. It was fun to watch
Well, I'm
some Shiva
glad.
scenery.
Ah, you betrayed your uniform is like an all-time. That's like Hall of Fame Cisco. You betrayed your uniform. And also in
Yeah.
Eddington is good. Eddington,
Yeah.
people might say he's smarmy and he's pretentious and
Smug.
stuff, but smug. But I mean, he's supposed to be. That's the character. That's what he's meant to be like. And Eddington's a great character. I mean, he's a great
Mm-hmm.
villain. Um, he's a great foil for Cisco. He's not completely in the wrong in terms of like his cause and what he's fighting for. Like he
Mm-hmm.
himself might be insufferable, but the cause he's fighting for does have, an element of righteousness and justice to it. Um, and he's fantastic as well. But they're just such great antagonists for each other.
Kirok, yeah. I mean, just the timing of it. It was nicely done. He beat me. Okay. Yeah. Accept it. Suck it up. Do
It,
better.
it's clearly bothering him
Yeah. Well, then he needs to get over it.
though.
Um, the whole forced relocation is I just sort of have to, that oh they've lost their homes is sort of, I just have to accept it because it doesn't resonate with me at all.
Well, why doesn't it resonate with you? Let me ask you that first before I say what I'm thinking of saying.
Well, I understand that other people, like, their sense of place is important to them, and I'm, they lost everything. I'm like, didn't you just say look at these families? They haven't lost everything. They have their families. Shut up. Like,
So you're saying like if you were in like a real life situation
and I was forced to
and
move.
you were forced to move
I mean, it would
like
suck the
permanently,
place.
like you're like you have to leave your house and you can't come back. Like as long as you
Okay.
had your family and they were okay, you wouldn't be that pissed off about it.
I, I wouldn't be that pissed off about it. Certainly not enough to like, work on, war fighting. I would be I would be bummed about either having to leave my stuff or having to do the friggin' work of moving is a lot of work. It's so much work. Of course, it would be a lot more convenient if, they just said, no, you can't take anything with you, just go. I'd be like, well, that sucks. But especially if, like in this situation, there's someplace good, like completely habitable, up to Federation standards that they can go to. Okay,
Yeah, that I
and
mean
not even
that's
that, not even
yeah.
that, they don't have to stay there. They can go somewhere else. You just can't be here. And like so I have to just accept and appreciate that for other people, their sense of place is something that's very important to them. Not important to me at all. Like not at
Well,
all.
I guess I did a video about the Maquis a while ago now, and I think I touched on it, and I did a video about Eddington specifically as well. I think I touched on this in both um, of those videos, but to me, it really the way I feel about the Maquis and their forced relocation really depends on whether I'm reading it as whether I'm reading the Federation as like a metaphor for the United States and the Maquis as metaphors for certain real life groups of people, or I'm reading them as I'm reading it more literally. Because to me, if you read it literally, it's it's not that big of a deal to me. I mean, it sucks for them, but they're part of a utopian society where there's virtually infinite resources, and they're being offered. They say, "Look, we will give you another planet in a non-contested area
Yeah.
for free. We'll help you move. You can stay there forever." You know, like that's a little and because no real life group of people that has ever been forcibly relocated has gotten that
Right.
offer.
Right.
It's not, I mean,
Exactly. That is what that
nobody,
is what
yeah, it's
because
always,
otherwise Starfleet, if Starfleet says no, you have to leave and you're going to live in a ghetto, you're
right.
being put in a ghetto, that's just where you have to live, then they're
Yeah,
obviously in the wrong, and that's not what we want for our side.
right.
So,
In real life, forced relocations are always
mhm.
we're forcing you to move from the place where you feel you belong, and the place where you're going is always way worse than the place
And it's
that
not
you
just
were taken from.
like the other thing is in the Federation, they are in the Federation is a moneyless society. Like one of the things that's coming up, we're reading Persepolis, and one of the stories that's coming up is My Mother's Arms. I don't, it's an excerpt, but there's a proclamation that I think it's the Armenians toward at some point in World War I are told they have to leave, and the family, the in the story, they have like their main house, they have a summer house, and they're being told they have to leave, but they're not allowed to sell their property, so they
Right.
have to leave and relocate with nothing. And so essentially they're being forced into poverty. Well, poverty doesn't really exist in the Federation,
Right.
so
Yeah.
essentially you're going to be put on a poorly terraformed planet, and you're not going to be given adequate, you're going to go somewhere that you have to struggle, like they're
Yeah.
the Cardassians, and they, whoever it was, that they are living somewhere, and under the Cardassians, was that it, was that there were people who lived there who wanted to, who had to stay, and they're not Cardassian citizens, they're still Federation citizens, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah. That's the
agreed to live under.
Maquis. Yeah. That's the Maquis.
So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that's because I get it confused.
Yeah.
So they are the Maquis. Those civilians are the Maquis,
Well,
because
no, the Maquis, the
the Maquis are the
Maquis
fighting on their behalf,
are
right?
fighting are from that group of people that are doing the fighting. Yeah, not
Okay,
all of
okay,
those people are part of the
right.
Maquis, but
Okay, but
yeah,
that's where the
but
Maquis
that's
come
the
from.
issue.
They're
That's what is
okay.
at issue. Yeah.
So like, if it was the Federation who said you can't stay on your home planet, we're going to put you on this other crap. We're going to force you to, and didn't offer them another place. Said you have to stay here under Cardassian rule. They can do what they want to you, and that's just how it is. yeah, that's terrible. And the Federation would be clearly in the wrong.
Yeah.
That's the analogy. That's the clear real life analogy. And the
Yeah.
Federation would be in the wrong.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, it
and
for me
they
yeah.
chose not to do the story that way. And that tells you a lot.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to make the Federation the villains. Um
So
and
that
but yeah,
comes to
so so
it comes to that meme. Are we the baddies?
and that's the thing, and that's why I always remind people when I talk about Star Trek like this, remember that it's not really about people in space in the future, it's about us on Earth right now. And yeah, the metaphor isn't perfect, and it's in this case I think it's very flawed and incomplete, because to make it
Mm-hmm.
more accurate you would have had to make the Federation a lot less sympathetic, and they just didn't
Yep.
want to do that because it's also an action adventure show, and
Yep.
they want the good guys to mostly be the good guys. But
But
if you
it
read
gives
it,
us
if
the
you look,
opportunity to have these conversations.
absolutely. So if you look at the Maquis as what they are meant to stand in for, the real life groups of people that I think they're meant to stand in for, then yes, I'm very much on their side. And I think they have a totally legitimate grievance. But if you read them as literally who they are in the world of the story, it's not nearly as sympathetic, you know? Um, yeah,
So, Greg, you say you'd hate to move countries because the governing body forced me to. Um, Honest question: would that be worse than being forced to move, or losing your job and then finding a job that's in a more remote location that doesn't won't let you work remotely, but you can get a job if you go there. And so, if you want the job, you got to move. Would being told by the government you have to move over to this town, this place that is far away from where you currently live, we're providing you, like in the story here, we're providing you with a comparable living situation, but you have to move. you know for me, you know economic things happening to you and having to move sucks, whether it's because
sure.
somebody decides that I have to move, or just that's sometimes how things happen. You're the company that you're working for goes under and you have to find a job, and the one you find soon enough that you still have money that you can afford to move your stuff is far away.
Yeah.
That happens, and it
Yeah.
still sucks, even if it's not somebody else screwing the pooch or
Right. It's
whatever
not
the
part
phrase
of a
is.
large scale thing.
Yeah.
I want to address something Caitlin said, and then we can play Wordmaster, and then we can wrap it up. Um, Caitlin says, I've had so many arguments with people on Twitter where I say it is both simultaneously commentary on today and aspirational future stuff. And other people go, no, it should only be the latter. Honestly, the tension between those two inclinations is my favorite part. And I want to acknowledge that because that is a good point. When I say it's really about us here today and it's
Mm-hmm.
not about people in the future, I tend to focus on that because that is the part that a lot of fans miss and a lot of fans are less comfortable with, because when Star Trek is critiquing us, it's challenging and it's implicitly asking us to change something about our society or our behavior, and
Mm-hmm.
people don't always respond well to that. So I always try to lean in that direction in my analysis. But yes, of course, it is also aspirational, and there is also a very hopeful element to it, which is just as much a part of Star Trek as anything else, and really defines the overall character of the show in its many different forms. Um, and but also, like, even in Star Trek, especially in the more recent shows, like starting in Deep Space Nine going forward, especially, um, they make it clear that, yeah, I mean, the future that these people live in, it's better than our current world in a lot of ways, but it's still not perfect. And for all the fans who say, no, it should only be aspirational about the future, it should only be about, a hopeful tomorrow for humanity, and it's never about real world problems. If that's the case, and if that is truly the intention of the creators, why is the show constantly asking us to think about real world problems? That's the big hole in that argument. When people say, oh, it's not political, it's not about stuff that's happening today, it's about the future. Well, then why are they constantly asking us to think about problems that exist in the real world today?
Well, I would suggest that it's not both simultaneously. Like that's not two different things. aspirational future stuff is inherently a commentary on how things are not
Oh,
that
sure.
ideal.
Sure. Yeah.
That is what it is. Like if you're going to do just aspirational stuff, that is a commentary on the non-as
Yeah.
as my chemistry teacher said when I was in high school repeatedly, because he was talking about, when forces interact and we're doing these equations, he's like, this isn't actually how it works because we live in a non-utopian world. And so what, in chemistry terms, it's way more complicated than this. But in a broader sense, yes,
Yeah.
also it's way more complicated than this. So when we talk about our aspirations for the future, it's because we ain't there now. Like otherwise there's no story there. So it's the same thing. They're the same. They're the same thing. An aspirational future story is commentary on how we're not in that utopia now.
Right. Because you're at the very least you're implicitly being asked to notice that things are not this way now.
We don't have food replicators. Oh my God. So inconvenient for me.
You would
I would have so much pie.
It's a good thing for you, Dana, that replicators don't exist, because you would eat yourself to death inside of a day.
I would no.
The evening of the first day you got your replicator, you would be found dead with a smile on your face and a burst stomach.
A half-eaten pie in my hand.
Well, she died doing what she loved, eating pie.
Eating pie. No, I like to think that I would have the sense, knowing that, this replicator is going to be here for a while. I'll be like, if I pace myself over time, I can have even more pie. But I think I've quoted that Shel Silverstein poem to you before. If I eat another piece of pie, I'll die. But if I can't have another piece of pie, I'll die. So since it's decided that I must die, might as well have another piece of pie.
Can't argue with the logic.
Gulp, bye.
You can't argue with the logic. I'm sorry. All right, let's play Wordmaster, and then you can squeak to your heart's content.
I'm gonna ask, can we skip the Wordmaster night?
Oh, you want to skip it? Okay, that's fine.
I think so. I don't think, as much as I love playing with y'all, my brain is like, no. I don't even remember. Oh, when I was exercising, we had to do, a certain number of stuff. And we had to do, we were on the rowing machine for a certain amount of calories, and then we would do something else, and then we'd come back. And it was supposed to be 20 calories each time. That they're like, if you go over a little bit, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, should we reset each time? I'm like, but then we have to add it. We have to math. Adding 20 and 20 is not too bad. But then you have to add another 20 to it. I don't know. And yeah,
I don't know about this.
And then, of course, I'm having to speak in Spanish every now and then, and I'm going over to Google Translate and helping me out. And I'm like, okay, I think I know oh gosh, it's been so hard. My brain is not braining no more.
Understandable. So, okay, in that case, right before we go, can you answer Kirok's question of what is your favorite
Don't forget charitylinks.page.
Yes.
It usually is about a toss-up between a tart cherry pie and pecan pie.
Ooh.
Those two, I can't.
Can't go wrong with either one of those.
I'm very particular on the cherry pie though, so usually pecan wins out because pecan's got I've got more range with it. Cherry, I'm very specific. Has to be a tart cherry pie. Yeah. A lot of cherry pies, just the sweet cherry pies, they're nice. Not as good as pecan though, but the tart cherry pie, especially if you get it like warm and a la mode, so the sweetness of the vanilla ice cream contrasts with the big of the cherry.
I'm right there with you. So while you prepare to dream of pie, yes, don't forget charitylinks.page for all your charitable giving needs, maintained by our friend Some Random Geek. Please make use of that if you are feeling generous and you want to help out some friends of ours. And I will see you on Friday.
Also, if you're don't forget that if you are a channel member or a patron, then you should be sending in an ask to Steve's Askaway, because
indeed the
Askaway is on Friday. So if you are like me and have been very full of things to do and you haven't turned it in, you still got a little bit of time. So hopefully I will get my question in. If you are not a channel member, you can click the button, or you can go to patreon.com/SteveShives and you can become a patron and then send in a question.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
So we will be back next week to watch Poirot, and we will be watching we're starting a new Poirot episode because we're still in the section of the series where they're doing movie length episodes. So we're only watching, the first half and then
And
the
the
second
thing.
half later. But so the next Poirot episode will be Death in the Clouds. So I don't have a link to it in the description of this live stream, but right after this show is over, I always set up next week's live stream. So I'm going to put a link where you can download the episode from the Internet Archive in the description for next week's live stream, which will be up within 5 to 10 minutes after this is over.
Wait.
And yes,
Did we finish? Did we
finished
watch
the ABC murders last week?
Right, but is Death in the Clouds the one with Ariadne Oliver?
I have no idea. I haven't watched, or I haven't seen these before.
Because we need to do that one.
We can do our
Okay.
Murder She Wrote thing anytime.
Anytime, except not anytime because we're not doing it next time. All right. I'm I'm not going to talk. You do it.
We'll figure it out. So anyway, I'll put the link in the description of the next stream, and we'll watch Poirot, the first part of what did I say it was?
Death in the Clouds.
Death in the Clouds. We'll watch the first part of Death in the Clouds next week. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Dana's going to bed now.
Night night.
Bye.